the major concern where still people split apart and have difference of opinions. So we should use DOE or we shouldn't use DOE and all these things which actually come up. Yeah. Apart from that, the thing what we are concentrating on this in this STTP is that each and every participant who has gone through this course would be able to actually distinguish between the various processes and should be comfortable in using the design expert software. Usually, 1 decade or 2 decades before, people used to use hand calculations. People used to, researchers used to make it, and it was a very difficult task for the researchers or the persons doing or getting into all that mathematical backgrounds or statistical backgrounds and get out the results. Now, any of the packages are available, so you need to just keep the data and extract the results. Yeah, but we need to know how we should do it. So that is all about DOE, and that is what we'll be looking into in the today's session. Yeah. So before getting into the other parts of this, I was like, we were looking into the participant registered. So around 10 to 11% female participants are there, and around 90% male participants are there. But yeah, still the female participant quota is there, which is around 35%, which government has reserved. So I hope female participants can join, or those who are registered already can motivate your friends to do the research and attend such things. And apart from that, we would like we were looking into like some participants with professional experiences like teaching, R&D, and industry. And we were happy that yes, many from the industry are also here. Yeah, this is actually a debate here. So always when we speak with some of the industrial persons, they rely on only the data. But yeah, but getting things from extracting the output from the data is always important. Yes, getting the data itself is getting a good data itself is a bigger picture, but extracting the data from it is again a one step ahead of it. So this is all required. So I'm happy to see that we are from all the three sectors we are here. That is teaching, R&D, and industry, and most of us, if you see, like around 72% are from mechanical. Usually, like speaking, like generally, when we look into all the structures, when as mechanical department is hosting this short-term training program, it doesn't mean that we'll be concentrating on only mechanical things here. So that was the whole idea, because when we were also like looking into the research part and usage of DOE. Always we had in mind like why not other departments or other fields of engineering utilize this statistical tool which actually gives a better output. Yes, every branch of engineering does some sort of experimentations, and why with the limited amount of data, why can't we extract good output? That was the whole idea of taking up this STTP, and that's why I was interested in giving this talk for this thing. Yeah, so we have faculties from most of the colleges throughout India, and yeah. So I would like to congratulate our coordinator. Like last time from Hyderabad, as we are hosting from Hyderabad, many were from Hyderabad. But this time, other cities are also being highlighted. So it seems like throughout from the other states also we have a major of the participants attending this STTP. And coming to the rate of knowledge or expertise with this, when we had this scaling from here, like it's so of us fit in 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is actually a good number, and most of us fit at 4, 5, 6. And yeah, what happens is neither we are like, yes, I don't know about this 10th part. I don't want to comment on this 10th part, but yes, most of us are fitting here. It's a normal distribution curve, and I hope that we satisfy these 9 people who are at the day who are joined as a beginners. So the whole target is from 1 to 10 scale. So the whole STTP will be targeting from 1 to 10 scale, who all fits in this scale. Okay. Yeah. So the only problem what happens with 4, 5, 6 is we neither can proceed ahead or neither we can go back. That is what usually happens with 4, 5, 6 normal distribution. So Yeah, that is what it is all about. Yeah, so I request all the participants that coordinator Dr. A. Varun sir has already sent you a link, which would actually be helpful for all the participants, because as the STTP progresses, you can just take any of the problem from, or any of the refer any of the journal, and you can take that problem and you can just see how the graphs and all these things come up. So I hope each and every one has installed the software, or else I'll just take 5 to 10 minutes for giving you a glance about this downloading and installation of the software. So please be with me. So the first step is you need to, I hope this link has been sent. So you can just click on that link. Then you can request for a demo for your team. So in the step 2, you can do this. I hope everyone has installed it or at least downloaded it. If not that, then I'll have to go a bit slow. So once the second step is over, you need to register. So you need to click on the register. You need to mention your mail ID and your password, and you can log in, and you need to fill out all the details required for registration. So once this thing is done, you need to confirm the account before logging in. Then after confirmation, click on the software tab. You'll be having a software tab here. So you can click on it and click on a free trial version. So once the 6th step is over, you need to go to 7th step, where you can fill all the details required, like the college which you're working, or the industry which you're working on, what's the job title, and so on. So why you're planning this DOE and all these things. So once that thing is over, you can download your what you on the machine on which you are working, right? Laptops or desktop. You should just check on which machine you're working, 32-bit one or 64-bit one. So whichever is compatible to you, so you can download that 32 or 42. Once that thing is done, you can go for next. Then yes, this procedure everyone knows. I hope everyone knows it. So next and install. So it may take around 5 to 10 minutes to install the software. You need to update it, and some things will be there. So it may take some time, 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can, once that thing is done, you can finish it off. So I hope all the participants have downloaded these things or followed these procedure steps. If any participants need some time to do these steps, we can wait 5 more minutes, and then we can go to the next part of the presentations. If someone, yes, if any participant needs some time, please you can type in the chat box, or you can just unmute and please ask us for some time. Dear participant, I am not. We are not asking any questions. Like, yeah, if you are comfortable with this, like if you are having this, it would be like beneficial for you to practice a bit. And when I browse through the software and the various tabs of it, it will be much easier for you to follow up and check. Actually, the whole intention of this HTTP is to say that you are convenient in using DOE software and using it rightly. That is the whole intention of this HTTP. I hope that you can just mention yes or no. That is also fine for us. So you have installed it, yes, or you can no, you can say, or you need to time something.
So you can type in the chat window.
Okay. Yeah. So I hope the participants are with me, and yeah. So once you run it as an administrator, you have to accept here. So once you accept this, you will be getting a serial number that is to your mail. So they'll be sending you a serial number to your mail. So you need to copy that serial number and you need to paste it here. So once that is done, you can click OK and register online. So once you register online, fill the required details and click register a license. So once that thing is done, this window will be opening. So once this window is open, you have successfully registered for the trial version, and we have given it this version is trial version 12. Yeah. Now let us start. I hope everyone has installed the software, and because some of the it's not for the people who have joined that who have at least 4, 5, 6. It's for the first few 10 to 12 people who didn't had who are just a beginners. For them, at least it is a much more important. It was a much more important task. Coming to DOE, why we need DOE? Like many people say, we like each and every time we have this debate between why we need DOE, why we need statistical tool, or like every time what happens is once we do or when we carry out research or when one you just to like interact with various people also, like always there is a debate. Why should we use DOE? Isn't why a normal experimentation can't work out, or like doing a research itself is a very big task, and now you need now I need to learn DOE and do all these things, and yeah, there are hundreds of questions which will be coming in mind, and we need to answer it anyhow, right? So before proceeding, we should know actually why this is required, and it is for all fields. Yes, sometimes it's required depending on the output. Actually, depending on the output, is it required or it is not required? That we can discuss or that we can decide on it. So yes. So with that, let us start this. So if you can see from this beautiful graph, it says publication versus years. So initially, we didn't have any demand like from the 60s, 1960s also, but gradually it started increasing. And from last 1 decade or 2 decades, we can say, from last 2 decades, the rise in the use of DOE is tremendously increased from around 2000 to 40,000 to around, it's like almost doubled up. So what we can say is not just for publication way, because yes, we can't say that no, if you use DOE then only it will be published. No, it's not the case. The case is like how efficiently you are utilizing the data which you have generated. Yes, and I hope that we, like being an Indians, are very specialist in extracting more data from the given input. And like if you see the same thing, if you use a progressive use of DOE, a scientific method over the past 2 decades, you can see the R-square value, which if someone is known with the DOE and the R-square, then they can know this. That's 0.97, we are getting it. So that they are using it. And now let us see this. This is the most important graph what we were speaking about initially when I saw like various branches of engineering. So when we see around only 10% of the engineers use DOE, but around 18% of medical they are using DOE. So what does this imply? Yes, engineers are actually, like what we say is, engineers usually develop the technology. Engineers do all the research on the technology and all this, but the person who are first implementing them are the medical people. If you see X-ray, X-ray, we have physics and we have developed the X-rays and all these things. But when we see at the final usage, if you go any hospital, X-ray is a common thing nowadays, isn't it? A bit small ache, you go for an X-ray and MRI scans and all these things. But what happens is we are not utilizing the things or the research what we actually have developed. So that is the only thing what I wanted to say. Like, it's not only restricted to branches of engineering, but yes, all other branches are using it better, and medical field is using it tremendously. So that is what I wanted to convey from this one. Yes, coming to design of expert. What is it? It's a branch of applied statistics. Yes, it's statistics. No doubt it is a statistics, but deals with some planning, conducting, analyzing, interpreting control tests. Control test, you can just mark it down. Control test to evaluate the factors that control the value of a parameter or group of parameters. So yes, no doubt DOE is a statistical tool, but we do things in a controlled atmosphere. So all the inputs and the outputs are controlled in a controlled atmosphere here, and that is why we can interpret the data more. We can interpret the data and we can extract more from the data. So it is important to obtain maximum realistic information with minimum number of tests for a well-designed experiment. So let us see this. So what happens is, usually in experimentation, it's not only that yes, all of us do experimentations and all of us get some experimental results, but the thing is that we need to extract more. The answer, everyone likes more, isn't it? From the available resources, if you can extract more, that is what people need nowadays, right? As all the experimentations have been are tough to do it. They may be easy to do it. They may be costly. They may be time consuming. Okay. So what we have to do is we should find ways to extract more from the available data. Okay. So an experimental program accommodates the major factors that affect the output of the experiment. So you need to actually select the factors which are actually affecting the response, and so on. You need to go on. It's a factor may be identified by looking at all the quantities that may affect the outcome of the experiment, and the most among this may be identified using some. You can do this some exploratory experiments or from past experience or based on some underlying theory. See, why I'm not stressing out on this thing is, as coming to the next slides, there we'll be getting into all the details of this. That's why I just kept a slide where we can say that yes, some things have to be done. Yes, everyone knows that some selections have to be done, and then we need to do some experimentations on that, and that some results will be there. From that results, we need to analyze how actually they are interdependent or which factors are more reliable. So before going to this, I need to just give you one thing. Usually, what we call it as, initially we need to select some factors which are the major influencing things, which actually possess some influence on the output. Okay, so if you have a certain output, many factors will be there which will be affecting the output. Okay, but what are the major factors which are affecting the output? So that one thing we need to keep in mind. So we need to select some variables which are actually major affectable, and I say after selection of the factors, we need to select some levels of it. So usually when we test it, we test it for some levels, and we go for some outcomes. So that is all brief idea of DOE. Now let us start with this session, and let us make it a bit interesting. Statistical is learning from data. That is what we say, and that is what we have learned from our schooling days even. Statistics is learning from data. So what we usually learn, when we go, so yeah, from childhood itself, we are almost known to comparing, isn't it? From childhood itself, we are known to comparing, and you may be hearing from your houses that your mothers or your fathers will be speaking. No, we need to purchase. You want to purchase something. Let us go to that shop. They are offering a bit better way of doing it, or if let us go to this or they are offering a better way. So usually nowadays, yes, we have some of the big bazaars and with all these things like what you call it, shopping malls and marts, all this. But yes, before this we didn't had all this. So orally we used to do it, right? All our families used to like you can just you could have just or your neighbors and or your friends, you'll be discussing with your friends and you'll be gathering some data and you'll be saying no, like yes, so and so shop provides good rice or good prices, or they give on MRP, or you can say that no, they give less than MRP, and all these things we have to compare. But now it is for us. Now it is a very easiest task, isn't it? Now we just go to some supermarkets like More, Big Bazaar, and we have DMart and all these things. We directly go there and we once or twice we visit, isn't it? Yes, More maybe near to my home, Big Bazaar maybe near to my home, but DMart a bit away from my home. So what should I? So what we usually do is usually we go to the nearest shops and we compare there, and then over a period of time we come to know that yes, somewhere the prices when we compare DMart is much more economical than when compared to Big Bazaar and More. Yes, still there is a debate between the quality of the products what we get, but still when you go with packed items and all that, we say that yes, something is better in this supermarkets. So usually what I wanted to say is like yes, we try to compare it, but how we try to compare it? Like if I take some X product in this supermarket and some X product in this supermarket, that is same. X and X means same, and I will compare the prices in INR, isn't it? I will compare the prices in INR. So what I usually say is, if this thing is more and if this thing is less, I will directly say that yes, we can go to DMart. That is much easier way of comparison. So for this kind of learning, normal statistical tools or normal comparative tools it's very easy for comparing, isn't it? It's very easy. But when it gets difficult, like depending on the complexity of the problem, then things start changing. Here we are only looking for some amount RS, some amount Indian rupees we call it as some RS, isn't it? So there is only one point of contact, that is rupees. If the X product what I wanted to purchase is less than what it is being provided by other supermarket, then it's a much easier way to compare for us. And what I do is I can go directly to this mart. Sometimes, yeah, I'll be getting a better quality, but a bit comparative price than DMart. That is fine. I'm speaking about some X product only. Okay. So this is a direct way of comparison. This everyone can do it. Even a school kid does this. No, what this is from there, I can get it from a lower price. From here, I can get it from a higher price and all this. And normal school going guy can do it. Then what we should speak about? Yes, we should speak something technical where these things are happening. Yes. So as already I told you that we as this STTP concentrates on on all the branches of engineering. So a small bit of example I would like to give up on circuit imprinting on tiny silicon chips. So usually everyone knows that some board will be there. On this board, I need to implant some ICs and all these things, and some soldering need to be done. Some wires need to be attached to this so that I can connect some components to this. So this is an IC. Okay. So ICs are attached to board by tensive wires soldered at each end. So usually each and every wire need to be soldered. So as everyone knows, like if I'm wearing this headphone, there is always a problem with the connection from this point to this point, or at the 3 mm jack, where 3.5 mm jack, where the connectivity just breaks off. Okay, so always there is a problem. There will be our most of our headsets fail there, right? So most of our gadgets also fail there when this wire which is being attached to this board is detached actually. Okay, when it is detached, then the connectivity fails and the whole unit fails. So that is one example what I wanted to just give it to you. Right. Soldering joints have to be strong. So usually we see that soldering joints have to be strong and it should sustain. To assure reliability, producers periodically sample from production and do dull test on the chip bonds. So usually what the testing, everyone is aware of testing. So each and every time we can't check all the connections and we can't just pull all the wires in, but periodically what we can do is we collect one board, and from that board we try to just pull the wires out so that we can know that how much load actually it is being, or how much load can the wire take and when it fails and all this. So what we require, force required to break the bond. Usually this we look into. Yes, if the bond is very good enough, this can sustain any vibrations and all these things. Usually like when we carry our laptops or mobiles and all this. So yeah, these problems were there initially, but now yes, printed boards are there directly. But still we need to attach the components, but some components, yes, but the number of wires which are attached to the board are reduced when compared to the previous decades. Yeah, so we need to check each and every board, and we need to see like how much is the force required for bonding, for breaking the bond. Yeah. So what happened is, this was one study from one of the textbooks. So what they say is, yes, I planned something. We planned something. Okay, we planned something. Like let us see why I'm saying this thing is, usually the force, lower limit of the force we have already defined. Okay, lower limit of the force already we have defined that this is the minimum load. Apart from that, if anything, whatever is the left out, it can be any limit. Yes. So we have tested the bond strength for n number of samples, and we have found that most of the samples, like if you see this normal distribution, most of the samples have a good bonding, and it is most of them have above the lower limit. Okay, above the lower limit of the bonding. That is what we get it from this graph only. Okay, and this data was actually sent to the manufacturers and then or the companies who actually gave this order. So usually what happened is they were like, we have done some data testing, isn't it? Yes, experimentation already we have done. Some planning we have done with some assumptions or models or something. What happens is we have some statistical data already. So this is the statistical data already what we are having. But what is the information that is coming out? How much is the information that is coming out? Is this why I am saying this thing? It's like a droplet, isn't it? It's like a droplet. What is the information that is coming out from the statistical? Yes, I have done some experimentation. I have done the pulling test for some samples, and I got that the bonding strength is more than the lower limit of the thing. Okay, but what is the data I am getting? Am I getting the bond strength data? Strength data I am not getting. Chip identification data such as date and lot allotment? No, I am not getting any of these two things. Any of these two things I am not getting from this. What is the bond strength data? Bond strength data I am not getting out. Chip identification means which batch chip I am getting, or sorry, which batch chip I am testing, when it was manufactured, what is the lot number? Nothing I am getting from the data. So what does that mean is, I have done all the experimentations, but the problem with this experimentation was that I didn't do it correctly, or I am not able to extract the right data. Means I have not done the experimentation correctly, means in a proper designed manner, and I was not able to extract the data from this. So you have done a huge amount of experimentations, but the data collection would be something like droplets. So this is not required, right? So usually what we look into is, with minimum number of experimentations, we should be able to extract more data from it. So what did the industry persons do is, as the bond strength, we need to check why the bond strength data we need, right? Who did the bonding operation? This is one person I need, because bond strength is dependent on who did the bonding operation, right? And who did the testing operation. These two things are required. Otherwise, I don't know the bond strength. Next, I need the data of date and lot of lot number usually. So these things also I need. Okay, so without this, I can't say actually which batch has gone off and which batch is not performing and which batch has less strength and all these things. Apart from that, we have bonding operation, or in this bonding operation, we have bonding machines. So they came up with something. This is actually the later part of factorial experiments, but yeah, I just wanted to show you. They came up something that data, what we have already produced here, is not giving me any data, any output which is desired actually. So what they did is, let us check for bonding operation, right? So coming to the bonding operation, we had, so if you see the first thing here, bonding operation and testing operation, we have three operators, okay, and three machines. On the three machines, we do the attachment of this wires to the chip, and three groups of people for pull test by a test operator. So again, we need an operator who does the testing actually. So three factors and three levels. So it gives around 27 experiments. Okay. Anyhow, we'll be looking this in a later, means we can understand this in a later stage of this presentation. What we are looking at is here that yes, we did 27 combinations. Yes, so generally we do this. So three operators, three different machines, and three different groups for testing. So if you do that, 3 into 3 is 9, 9 into 3 is 27. We need to do 27 combinations for doing testing this. And when we do it statistically by using DOE, what they say, there was no appreciable difference among bonding machines. Means bonding machines didn't have much of an influence on the bond strength. Much of an influence on the bond strength. And apart from that, there are sustainable difference among both bonding operations and operators and testing operators. So now it's completely dependent on the bonding operators and the testing operators. So this doesn't have much of an influence. So what does that mean is this factor which you had considered can be omitted, and you can concentrate on the operators and the test operators and bonding operators. So this were the two things that we should that we can look into. So this is one example where we could look into this thing. So what does this mean is, initially the statistical data would give you something which from there you can't get most of the output, because as we were looking into, it doesn't say anything, isn't it? Which batch it is of, or which lot it is of, and what is the bond strength. Okay, but when you do it using design of experiments, you'll be coming to know which factor is affecting and how much it is affecting. So let us take one more example. This all of us would be knowing here. This is one result analysis for BTech students. So if you can see, there is one graph which says that number of students which have obtained some grades. Yeah, so the curve should be actually, yeah, it depends now. Everyone follows normal distribution curve, but yeah, sometimes this can be also there. And what we can say is around 1, 11, 10, 9, and so some numbers are there, and we can say that yes, these are the students who have obtained A plus and B and so and so. Yeah, and now this thing is there. Then we say that yes, this is the same data. No? So this are actually, like, if you can say, like all the colleges from decades together just follow this, and they say so and so student got so and so degrees and so grades and all these things. Yeah, but what about the factors which are affecting these results? If a student doesn't perform, the student is bombarded, faculties are bombarded, and at last it goes to the parents, isn't it? Students are bombarded, faculties are bombarded, and at last it goes to the parents. But yes, I'm going a bit towards the education research. Is this only thing that you should directly go and directly you can just bombard? You don't know which factor is affecting the students actually, or if not students, the grades actually. And is it right actually to directly bombard anyone? Like if you directly, like if you catch hold of a student, you say that no, you have not read, don't give any if you are prepared properly, then everything you would have written. Then students would be blaming the question papers and the faculty, and at last parents would be blaming the students and the faculty, isn't it? So this things are always there. There is always a blame game and all this because we are not utilizing the data correctly. That is the first and foremost thing. That is what is happening. So what does the data say from this? Is it saying anything? It is just clearly indicating that so and so, so many students have got so and so grade. That's it. Apart from this data, are we extracting anything from this graphs? We are not extracting anything. So what may be the factors affecting? It may be the student quality, maybe that batch, or it may be the faculty quality, or it may be the course or the subject that we are looking into, and so on. So usually there are n number of factors that would be affecting the output. So yes, usually like NBA also is looking into all these things, and they have some different methods of getting out actually what are the factors influencing and how you overcome that influence and all these things. Actually, the NBA, National Board of Accreditation for the engineering college, is actually looking into these things only. So how to assess the students, and after results, once you analyze the data, which they are getting into a bit more statistical, not as defined as the DOE, but they are getting into a bit more statistical data, or you can say another level of data, where they are looking into which unit that the student was weak and how could it be improved and all these things. But yes, truly speaking, like we can do some factor analysis, and we can consider some factors or a group of students, and then we can analyze the data. So the whole idea is like, again, let me come back. So what I wanted to say is like, yes, we have a data, but how will we extract more from this data? That is the whole idea of getting into this thing. So the previous one, example of the chip, was the same thing, and here also we are speaking about the marks. But yes, that is just a simple way of looking into it, but we are not extracting anything much from this data. So we need to get more into this. Yes. So now after this, I'll be taking a small example which will give actually the better insight why we need and what is the misconception that we think of. So this actually addresses, this example would be addressing actually misconception. We'll be thinking of something and these things, but the misconceptions will be there. Yeah. So I would just like to look into this data, and I would like to just tell you. One thing is like each and everyone, I hope everyone is attached to their screens, and they'll be looking into like mileage, or we say it as kitna deti hai. This is the most famous thing, and now as the petrol prices have reached above 90, so each and every person is keen on this word mileage, isn't it? Yeah, just excuse me. Okay. So each and every person is keen in getting the mileage or extracting the mileage. Not only each and every person, each and every car manufacturer in the world, looking at the soaring petrol prices, gas prices, everyone is keen on trying to extract better mileage. Actually, I hope everyone understands this. Yeah. So everyone is interested. I hope until and unless I know most of my friends, and we, yeah, the first thing, what if you see a new car also, we at the max we'll be asking the cost, but the next question would be like, kitna deti hai. That is the most thing, because I myself asked many of the many of my friends, and right? So fuel efficiency is a major impact. Okay. Yeah, let me take one one better example. Where as considering as a normal, or we can call it as a middle level families. For us, what we say is, for us, getting our first bike itself is a very keen. Yes, after getting one bike, we get cars and all this thing. That is all uh, the future. But yes, or cycle you can say. But yes, getting the first bike till today also. Let it be any student even, right? Any student or any office going personal. Getting the first bike itself is always a big war, which is going on between let it be students, parents, pockets, and all these three are interrelated. Student, parents, and pockets. All these three are interrelated. So always when we see on the economical front, at least we see that okay, if I am a normal office going guy, I would like to have one bike which gives me good mileage and less as maintenance and all. Yes, because there is something, some picture of Hero Honda Splendor. Yes, I accept that there are many other bikes like Platina and other things which give better mileage than this. Only thing why I kept this is like, yes, still people desire Hero Honda Splendor, and these people are still happy with this brand. Yeah. So usually we do this. A normal office going guy has this thing of a low maintenance or low on pocket. Okay. Just let us go with the second one. And as I told you in the previous slides also, like students, parents, and pockets, isn't it? The first one is students. So if you would be a student, I hope minimum you would be expecting this minimum. Yes, nowadays Royal Enfields are there, FZs, Yamaha FZs are there, and yes, still better bikes are there in the market. But at least minimum what you would be expecting is, apart from the Splendor and all these things, it would be like Pulsar. I hope all the participants agree with me. Yeah. So minimum what they would be expecting is a Pulsar or something, isn't it? So which one should I buy? I am not speaking about kitna deti hai. Yes, kitna deti hai, it's fine. We say that yes, Splendor gives a better mileage and Pulsar gives a less comparatively less mileage. That is known fact actually. Okay, so which one should I select? This is the biggest question. So you'll be like asking, sir, what is this doubt? And yeah, if you want mileage, go to Splendor. If you want right, if you want pickup and look and all this, go to Pulsar. Isn't it a simple solution? That is what all we look into, right? A simple solution, Splendor and Pulsar. Okay, I hope everyone agrees with this. This also, yeah. So I just added one a bit of fancy thing. If a son wants a bike, mom would always prefer a Pulsar, and if a dad's, always we would prefer a Splendor, isn't it? So who will win? Yes, if frankly speaking, at home, yes, always this this side of the family would win, and this side has to compromise. Yeah, that is fine. But I hope I'll be trying to see that I will conclude that at least this side of the family would win. Yeah. So usually, what happens with this kind of things is, always what we do is we just judge, or we just judge the things by only one parameter. Yeah, I'll just take some time for this because I would like, because yes, walkthrough will be there anyhow, but apart from that, this is also was very important to understand actually why it is there. So what happens is, like we are looking on only one factors. That is just the mileage. If I say the mileage, that is fine. I'm just looking on the output, but I'm not looking in the input of it. Right? The conditions in which I'm driving. Do anyone consider this? No. As we do this, we don't consider all these things. Okay. So generally what happens is we need to look into the factors which are affecting the mileage actually, isn't it? So yeah, let us look into some of the factors. So what could be the possible persons? Usually, if you see, number of persons who are riding the bike. Yes, one is mandatory, because without that it can't run. Apart from that, as per the norms, as per the government norms, 1 pillion can be there. Pillion. That is one way of looking into it. It's, generally, like if I'm using a single, I'm going a single, or I'm going double, right, with pillion. So that is one way of looking into it. Next factor, what I'll be looking into is what is the cubic capacity of the engine capacity. Like it is 100 or it is 150. So that is directly from the engine capacity. So I have not done anything much. And this, as I have considered, this less number of factors for you just for understanding. And you have speed. Speed is at what, or it is called as average speed also. You can call it as average speed. So what speed am I driving? Am I driving at 50 or am I driving at 70? Yeah. So what is the average speed that I'm driving at? So yeah. So what is the average speed at which I am driving at? So that is the most important thing what I'll be looking into. Okay. So now, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So usually, like each and every time, we used to conduct one Mentimeter. This time I'm not conducting that. Last two phases we already had this, and we were looking into some of the responses. So I hope everyone knows from this actually, and I, whatever the results I got was like the question what I will be asking was. Let us go back here and check actually what was the question. So usually we were into like which factor do you think will influence the response more? So that was the only thing that we used to give this in Mentimeter, and we used to get the results from the participants. So I hope still many of us like would be looking into the cubic capacity of an engine as the most influencing factor. Okay, as the most influencing factor. So this is what we were looking into. Almost like when we gave this test results for the last two phases also, we got that the cubic capacity of an engine was the most influencing. Okay. So yeah, anyhow, we have around still 15 minutes. So let us discuss on this a bit more, and then we'll go for the rest part of this session. Yeah. So I hope that everyone understands or everyone agrees with this, that cubic capacity of an engine was most influential. Yes. After that, we did some things, and this thing actually, like when I'm also given one session on RSM on the coming days. So naturally, anyhow, I'll be discussing these things there. But what is actually the beauty of this thing is, let me have small questions or small doubts in your thing, or let me just dump some questions in your mind. Is just the cubic capacity of an engine is influential? The load on the engine means number of the persons means load, isn't it? Directly, if you say it is a load on the engine, when the load on the engine increases, what would be the mileage? What would be the mileage? Naturally, it will reduce. When you go at higher speeds, mileage would drop. When you go at lower speeds, the mileage will up. So that is just a normal thing. So what we do is we overlook the things. Okay, we overlook the things. We don't consider the various factors which are affecting. And what happens is we just narrow it down and we look at just one factor which is called as cubic capacity of an engine, and we say that that is the most influential. That's why most of the people like prefer Splendor. But if you go for a double riding, If both persons are heavy, still I didn't consider that. If both the persons are heavy, the road conditions are not good, you are in a hilly regions, so there are n number of factors which will be affecting. But still, we consider only, we have just seen the cubic capacity of engine and we have judged that this is the most influential factor. So that is what we got the output as, like initially from the initial tests also we got the output as. But anyhow, this will be there, and we'll be exploiting these things. This example will be exploring it when we look into the RSM part of the phase 3 STTP. Yeah. Now, before all these things, anyhow, I've given a brief why we need to select DOE and what is the problem with statistical data and how we can extract more data and all these things, and how to look at a particular problem. Isn't how to look at a particular problem is also the most important factor for us. Otherwise, we don't know actually how things are going on and all these things. So now we need to actually, the major problem what happens is the various understanding of the various terminologies and selection of the various designs which are available in DOE. That is one thing. So let us start with special terminologies which are used. So what is response, or we call it as response variable? The output what we are looking into is called as response variable. In the previous one, it was mileage. In the previous one, it was mileage. The first thing what I was looking up output was the mileage. Before that first example, we had the bond strength, isn't it? The bond strength of the wire for the chip, and the other one was the marks of a student, right? So what was the output was marks anyhow, or the grades, right? So we need to know for what variable I am looking for, response variable I am testing all these experiments for. You should have a very clear idea. Okay. Without that, what happens is we just overlook, like, let it be anything. I am doing some experimentation. I am not worried about the output. No, I shouldn't be there. First thing is you should know the output for what you are doing all these things. That thing is the first thing. Then comes the factors. I hope in the first session also you had a briefing about all these factors, but yes, still I just wanted to give something. So now coming to the factors. So once I know the output, once I have selected the output for which I'm testing, I need to see what are the various factors affecting the output. So usually when it comes to thermal engineering and all these things, we take ambient temperature and all these things, and we take some constants. When we design also, we take some constants. We look into many of the factors which are affecting, and we make them some constant and all these things. But yes, but you should be, we as a person who is experimenting should be, excuse me, should be knowing actually what are the factors that are affecting the mileage. Yes, it may be affecting 1% or it may be affecting 20% or 50% maybe. But we should know actually what factors are affecting, and if then after knowing or having a complete glance about the factors which are affecting the mileage, then I can vomit some which I can take it as constant, or which I can know that it doesn't have much of its influence on the output. Okay. So if you see in the previous example, did I take wind speed? Did I take wind speed, direction, right? A road surface, or maybe tire condition, or maybe petrol quality, or maybe engine condition, isn't it? So if I take the previous example, there are many factors which are affecting the output, but I didn't consider all that. What I thought is like, yes, these things are almost constant for all my test conditions, isn't it? If I'm doing testing at a particular period of time, all these conditions should be constant. So I don't want to get into all that things. I want to just know actually what are the major factors that are affecting. That's why I just gave it that number of persons, capacity of an engine, and the average speed, were the major. Yes, I can do testings on this also, and like finally using DOE, I can say that these things which are coming up like a wind speed and all these things are negligible. So this factor I shouldn't consider. Next, this is one. These are selection of factors. Next is levels. Now, what level should I do the experimentation? Yes, I know the factors, but what level should I do the experimentation? This is also a very important task when it comes to design of experiments or any experimentation. Selecting the level is factors to some extent it is fine, but selecting the levels itself is always a very tedious process for any experimenter. Generally, what we do is, yes, these are things and I just put it up and these are the levels just for my convenience, I do something. But that I can't do it. Right? So I need to have something where I to select the levels. See, let us take the number of persons for the first factor which I was studying. Now considering the levels, minimum how much without one person at least on the bike can we ride the bike? We can't ride a bike, isn't it? So minimum is one. So level I'll write it minimum here. I can write it in maximum. Okay. There can be intermediate, it can be 3 level, it can be 5 level. Okay. But minimum is 1. But maximum, how can I limit the maximum? If I don't want to have challans on my registration number and coming to my doorsteps, the challans from the traffic police, I need to follow some government norms, and at the max I can go with 2 persons. Okay. So this is what I can do it. This is in my territory. 1 person is minimum required for riding the vehicle, and 2 is there is a maximum I can with the pillion I can go rider and a pillion. That is the maximum I can go. Okay, that is how I fixed this. But you can say, sir, what is that? Fixing this 1 and 2 was much easier for you. Yes, fixing 1 and 2 was much easier. I don't want to comment on capacity of an engine because already it is available. So I'm comparing this and just taking the engine capacity 100 and 150. That is fine. Now coming to the average speed. Yes. So coming to the average speed, yes, usually like when it is a normal traffic road or something, if you want Pulsar also, if you can, riding Pulsar on 40 and 45, you can't go with a 5th gear. Many of us have seen that, isn't it? So 50 is more comfortable thing for start with the average speed. That's why I kept this as 50. And this thing as the max is 70, depending on Indian road conditions, 70 could be there. So selecting the levels was much easier for here. Yes, I don't know. Yes, there are various ways of doing it for some experimental things that we will be discussing in much later stages. Yes. So selecting the levels is the most important factor which happens actually because many of us do in manufacturing, thermal and all this. So there we need to do initial experiments or trial runs for selecting the levels and factors. We use 1 factor at a time. Then we use factorial experiments. Okay, so 1 factor at a time is actually used for fixing the levels, and the factorial experiments you can fix the factors usually. Okay, that is what generally we do it. But yes, we do 2 level, 2 to the power of k. We usually do it when it comes to fixing up the factors. So I hope everyone is clear with the response variables, factors, and levels. Now coming to the replications. Yes. So what happens here is, yes, we overlook replications, but replication is always a necessary aspect. Why? Why we can say that is, usually we don't consider all the factors which influence the response. Usually we don't consider that. And apart from that, as I told you, engine condition maybe, or the tire pressure monitoring, tire conditions maybe, or the petrol quality maybe, these all things. What happens is, due to some things, there will be some problem, some deviation in the readings. Not only this, if you go for measurement also sometimes, there will be some deviation because each and every stage there are errors which come into. Maybe I'm writing it wrong. And maybe sometimes the mileage was like 54 and I wrote it 45. They seem somewhere like this easier way for us, or 64 and 46. Okay, 64 and 63 or 62 doesn't have much of a difference in pronunciation. So while noting down also we note down it completely wrong. So what we have to do is each and every experiment we try to replicate it. Means I don't conduct at the same conditions. What I do is I repeat the experiment at least twice. Okay, at least twice. So once this two data, first data and second data, I have done with the same condition first time and second time. So when these two are in close range, when these two are in close range, we say that yes, we can accept the readings. And if these two are not in close range, I need to go for third replication. Okay, maybe 1 and 3 are in close range or 2 or 3 in close range. The first one would be wrong for me. So usually replications have to be done. So most of the papers, actually, when we do experimentation results, most of them will be asking you R square value, or they'll be asking you the replications at least. Okay. So completely rerun experiment with same input level. So usually we do that used to determine impact of measurement error. So usually if there is some measurement error, like what we do with revaluation, yes, already one valuator has corrected it, then we give it to a second valuator, like our paper. I'm speaking about the answer booklets. So one valuator has already done it, and we give it to second valuator outside. If there is a major difference, then we go for third valuation. Isn't it? So what does this mean is 1 and 2 is in closed range, then these two are accepted, 2 or 3 are in closed range, we accept these things. So usually we do that. That's why we give some replication. Yes, there will be many problems in valuation of the paper also. Yes, the evaluator had done is right, but the counting may be wrong. Sometimes he may have overlooked one of the para and the marks may be less. Or I don't know about whatever is mood, how he's correcting. So that may happen. So we all are humans, we are not machines. So somewhere or else we'll be having some problems. Next, coming to the interaction. Effect of one factor depends on level of another input factor. So that is one way. That is what we need to look into. That is interaction. So what is the interaction? Does it have any interaction? Yes. So let us go with this. So what we looked into was, for this example, if we say what we looked into was just capacity of an engine. We just looked into capacity of an engine and we said the mileage is only dependent on capacity of an engine. Is it? No, right? The number of persons is also affecting the engine. So the mileage, the average speed is also affecting. As the three are affecting. But is there any interaction between this? Number of persons and CC of engine, or CC of engine and average, or number of persons and average speed? Is there any interaction? Is it interaction? Is it dependent? Is this factor affecting this one? Yes, there is actually, isn't it? The number of persons are 2, and the average speed is also high, and then the engine capacity is low, and all these things. Yes, it naturally affects the response. But with normal, statistically, how we do it from graphs, can we extract this kind of data? Interaction data with normal things, we can't extract the data, isn't it? So again, DOE comes in place here. So effect of one input parameter depends on level of another input parameter. So that is what actually DOE exploits. So coming to the procedure, as I told you, we need to first set off a response. So once the response is set, I need to select the variables, or we call it as factors. Once that thing is done, I need to select an experimental design. I need to go for full factorial, I need to go for RSM, I need to go for Taguchi methods, I need to select one which is actually apt for my design or the set of experiments what I am doing. Then what I do is, once I select that, I will be getting a design. Okay, not design means like the machine and all these things where we do machine like DMM and all the dynamics, not that design. We'll be getting a sequential steps, not sequential combinations of steps of various levels. Okay, so once I get it from the DOE, I need to do experimentation in their sequential steps only. Okay, so then once that is done, I need to check the data are consistent with experimental assumptions. Then I need to analyze and interpret the data what I have, and or at last I need to use it or present the result. So that is one more. That is the thing what we need to do. This is the throughout procedure that we need to follow. Okay. Yeah. So coming to the selection of experimental design. So usually, generally, like when we say that when we need to do all combinations, like all the combinations of factors and levels and all this, then we usually call it as full factorial experiments. And after that, we have some fractional factorial where we do as a small fraction. We experiment means the data set what we'll be getting on which I'm experimenting will be comparatively less, a fraction of the full factorial design. Then we have some screening designs. So usually screening designs are the one where we come as RSM. Okay, RSM. And after this, you can. This is also not possible if you are not able to do experimentation, or this number of, or if you are not in a position to do this minimum number of experimentations, then you should go for a method that is called as Taguchi, where you can get, or where you need to do least number of experimentations, but still there are some problems associated with the Taguchi methods. And there are various kinds. I don't want to say problem because it's a wrong word to use the problems associated. The right word, what we can say is, we need to select any of the design, like full factorial, fractional, or screening, or Taguchi methods, depending on our applications and need. This is most important for us. Selection of the design, selection of the experimental design is the most important for us. So we need to know actually which one is more important. So that is what we'll be coming to know in the coming up sessions from tomorrow onwards. Now let us have a major walkthrough with DOE. So coming to the DOE, yes, I'll be going through the DOE software and giving a glance actually how you should use the software and how the data will be there and all those things. So usually I'll be showing you factorial design, Taguchi method, and response surface methodology. So before going to that, let us one example what would be common for my talks would be like the same bike example, where we have the factors and the levels. So usually we designate 2 to the power of k like this. 2 is the number of levels. Okay, 2 is the number of levels, and 3 is the factors. So general factorial experiment or general factorial full factorial experiment called as, we take normally 2. This is actually for selection of factors usually. Okay, so selection of factors, I just take only 2 levels usually, and I don't go for 3 to the power of 3 and all that. Okay, so usually let us. So please try to remember these things. Number of persons, and we have 1 and 2. Capacity of an engine is 100 and 150, and average speed is 50 and 70. Okay. I hope for everyone this PPT, sorry, this slide, this screen is visible. Okay. Yeah. So actually, I'm using an older version of Design Expert, but yes, most of the tools will be the same way as in the 12 version. The only thing is like we wanted to give you the latest version. Actually, like it is a trial version. Yeah. So generally, we'll be getting this kind of window when we go for older versions. The new one, as I told you, the wizard will be there. The new wizard, which is there. Yeah. So generally, when you go for a new design, the first screen which is visible for us for most of the versions of the design of experiment software would be like this. Okay, this is how it looks. And we'll be having some beautiful colors here: white, green, yellow, and reds, and all this. So generally, if you see, it's called as two-level factorial designs. And what we say is like this white colors, right? Actually, this is black one is the one which you have selected. If you see this white diagonal line, these are for full factorial experiments, and the remaining other colors are for fractional factorial experiments. So if you see here, on the left hand side here, we have runs, number of runs required, and on top you have number of factors. So usually like for 2 factors, 2 to the power of 2, like we have 4 runs like that we are having here. 3 factors, 2 to the power of 3 is 8 factors, and so on. And if you go with the green, actually, like let me give you just briefing of this green, yellow, and red. So usually green are the ones which where you can just carry out with the factorial experiments, like means fractional factorial experiments. So if you see here, we were into 2 to the power of 3, right? So usually with the 2 levels and 3 factors, with the mileage example, we had to go for 8 runs. So with this 8 runs, I can do testing for 4 factors also. Okay, you can see here 4 minus 1. So this is a fractional factorial. 4 minus 1, I can do it here. So what does that mean is with 8 runs itself, I can test 4 factors and I can check which factor is influential. Okay, so that is how fractional factorial goes on. So with the here it was 16. With 16 experiments, I was checking just 4 factors, but I can check around 5 factors. If I go on such that if I enter the yellow zone, I can check 6 factors till 6 to 8 factors, and if I enter the red zone, I can check 9 to 15 factors. Yes, but there is some significance. This green one which you can find is recommendable. Usually you can just go ahead without thinking anything. It is just recommendable. You can directly move. But when you go with the red, yellow ones, you need to be a bit cautious. You need to see that all the conditions what you're selecting are appropriate, or the factors what you're selecting is right enough, and the levels what you're selected are good enough, and the experimental conditions are very precise. Then only I can select this designs from this yellow zone. Okay, and we have to do experimentation with utmost caution. Okay, utmost caution. Like if the experimental setup is very precise and all, then yes, then with utmost caution I can go with yellow zone. And red zone is not recommendable. Usually, experiments when we do it with the red zone is not recommendable. Okay, yeah. So now let us start with 2 to the power. This is just full factorial design, 2 to the power of 3. The one what I was looking into. Okay, yeah. So this kind of dialog box happens here. Then we have here, we need to write the names of the factors. That is like, let us write it down. The names of the factors were number of persons. Next one was CC of engine. The third one was average speed. Yes, you can mention the units also. Number of person doesn't have any unit. You can have CC of an engine is CC. Average speed is kilometers per hour. Okay. There's values also. You can write it down here. What were the levels? Values of the levels 1 and 2. CC of an engine was 100. Low was 100. Highest was 150. Average speed was 50, and high was 70. So once you mention all this thing, why I'm asking you to mention here is the final design which comes up. If it is in coded factors like -1 and 1 and all these things, you for us to identify that and writing or conducting the experiments would be much difficult. So this is much easier for us. And apart from that, the graphs what we obtain from the design expert software, directly we'll be getting the graphs with the units and then factors names and this all things. So it is always recommendable to mention all the things previously itself. Then what is the response that I am looking for? I was looking for mileage and it was kilometers per liter. Okay, I just have one response. If I am looking for something else also, I can write it down. Okay, maybe the cost of the bike and all these things I can note it down. But yes, I have gone for only one response, so that is fine for me. So finally, what I'll be getting is this kind of design. Okay, finally, what I'll be getting is this kind of design. So So usually what happens is, this is when I go with serial number, standard order we call it as, or serial number we call it as. If you can see here, there are the first factor, second factor, and third factor, and what they are given is 2 to the power of 3 means around 9 experiments, isn't it? So 9 full experiments. So they are given some combinations. So usually what we do is we need to save this up, or we need to write it in our booklets or something, thing, and we need to go and conduct the experiments. Yes, but one thing what you have to keep in mind is, once the design is generated and when you copied this to one of your notebooks, you need to save this design for whatever testing you have done, because these combinations may change. Okay, this combination sometimes may change, and for full factorial that is still fine enough. But when you go with RSN or Taguchi, this becomes much more important. Saving the design is much more important. So you can just click on save, and or you can just click on save as, and you can just save it. And now the most important thing, you have to conduct the experiments according to the run order. You don't need to conduct the experiments according to the standard order. I just changed it up. You can just right click it, sort by run order. So usually you need to conduct the experiments through the run order, not through the standard order. It actually, the main intention of conducting the experiments through run order is, we need to just like each and every machine or each and every operator, once you do this continuous process of looking into something, you just get an, okay. Like if you see, like for a long goods train is there with around 60 compartments. Okay, in between that, that goods train with all that carriages, like, isn't it? The whole thing is covered. In between that, one coal one will be there, right? Which one is open top, and some coal is moving off. Sometimes what happens is, when we try to count the 60, we overlook this one. Measurement, when we do measurement also, when we do the same thing continuously, there is one Charlie Chaplin cartoon. He'll be tightening the bolts each and every time. So what happens is, once he has done it, once he is off the duty also, he'll be doing the same thing, right? So then there isn't any change in the thing, or the machining operation time, or the gearings and all these things. The results what you get will be a bit error or noise will be incorporated into that. That's why what we need to do is, we need to do it run order. So if you see, there is a bit different. Initially, you'll be doing it with 100cc bike, then you'll be going for 150cc bike, then you'll be going for 100. Then means repeatedly you are not doing it. See, let us take the example of this one itself. First, you're doing it 100cc. Now the engine is already heated up, isn't it? I'll just give you with this example, right? The engine is already heated up. Now, if you repeat it with 100cc vehicle, your engine is already heated up. So energy consumed behind heating the engine is gone, right? So naturally, 150. Naturally, next time the mileage will be more for the 100cc vehicle, isn't it? Because most of the engines initially they consume fuel for heating up, right? That's why we on the choke and all these things, and unless it heats up, it doesn't go smoothly, right? Now I go for 150. Now, if I do the third one also continuously 150, what happens? Yes, what happens? Again, if the engine is heated up, so naturally it will give, when you use it, naturally it will perform better than the previously, right? So that is what is happening. So that's why usually what we say is, we need to conduct the experiments through run order. So once we have conducted the experiments, when we have noted down in our papers, usually we can't carry laptops, especially when we are mechanical engineer, we can't carry laptops or tabs where we can install and we can just enter the value directly here. So what we do is, we note it down in the paper. So usually, like after all that things, we can just mention the things in this, right? In the test mileage or something, we can just put it down here. Once that thing is done, we can go for the summary, which will give actually what was the data inputted and all these things. And after once that, we need to analyze. Yes, it is not showing anything because we have not entered any of the value here, but we need to go and analyze this. I hope I'll be giving some data here. Okay. Anyhow, we have some test results already, but I would like to just give some data here so that we can look into it. Like for 70, okay, let us take this 50 for 2 people and 170, like maybe around 55 and I hope this should come better mileage. 2 people 150 and average speed, yes, this should also come some better mileage. This should give the highest mileage, it seems. 150 and 50, yeah. Sometimes it gives this thing. Yeah, this should be the worst one. Okay, just I've given some random data. Already tested data we have with us, just for this presentation wise. Yeah, so once the thing is done, you need to go with analyze, and in analyze we have this mileage. So yes, the first one shows the transformation, but I'll come back here. Then we go with the effects. Then we go with the ANOVA, but instead before going to ANOVA, we need to check the effects here. Okay. Yes. So coming to the effect list, you need to check. You need to tick which, or we need to want, if you need, depending on your role of study, what you want to look into. Okay. You need to give that as main effect. So just double clicking on the thing, I'll be saying that it's this things just for time being, and what I'm saying is these 3 factors are only main effects. I am not considering any interactions. So after this only your ANOVA table will be visible for you. So what does it say? The ANOVA table is other sessions will be concentrating on all these things, but I just wanted to give you a glance actually. So usually if you see in 12, actually there are much advanced options and the information is much clear for us. So the major thing what is affecting, like is anyhow I have not given the right data, so the significance is something different here. But what we say is if the value of the probability, that is f, less than 0.05 indicates model are significant. Less than 0.05, less than 0.05. So the model is significant, and engine CC of engine and average speed is significant. Only what is affecting is the number of persons who are moving on it. Yes, still the data is wrong, but yeah, for time being, let us see this. So that is one more thing. So this R square value and adjacent R square value speaks about this. So usually R square value and adjacent R square value, we try to say that it keeps around 90. However you do it, usually however you do it, it should be above 90. It should come, if means like the experimental conditions and all things are right. Usually they come above 90. And predicted R square should be also like 10%. There should be a 10% difference only between the predicted R square and this one. Yes, anyhow, this is a brief regarding ANOVA. And it says the model what you get is significant or not, and which factors are significant. So this is how you decide actually which factors you can consider for further experimentation, or you can just vomit that particular things. Apart from that, what this one, I directly came to Bob-Cox plot. Actually, if you see this, one recommendation is given here, that is none. That is lambda is equal to 1. Why I told you when I went with transform 1, why I told you that lambda is equal to 1 is, if it is required in the diagnostics, if it says that I need to change this, okay, then I should come back here and select any one which the software just suggests, like whatever the transformation is required. Then again, I need to follow all the sequence of steps which are showed up here. Otherwise, if it is the recommendation is none, so that is fine for me. Then you'll be getting the model graphs directly. Okay, you'll be getting the model graph directly with mileage on one side, number of persons on the other side. So this model graphs can directly be, you can just right click and you can save this actually. Like in 12, it is much easier for saving this, but yes, you can just save it and you can use it for reference, or else like instead of that, if you want some better graphs, what I do is I can just put the cursor here. So on the left hand side, I'll be getting here the data. So once I put the cursor, please see on the left bottom, like something it is like predicted 60. Okay, so I'll be getting this value. If I keep it here also 60.08 at bottom, okay, I'll be getting some value here. Okay, so this I can note it down and I can plot it in some of the other softwares like Origin or Excel. I can do it. And now this was like for number of persons. I can just change it, change the term, what I'm looking for. Okay, I just CC of engine, I just change the term. Then is average person, I have changed the term, right? So these are some of the graphs that I can get directly. And the ANOVA table is there and all these things can be done. Okay, this is one way of looking into it when it comes to full factorial designs. Now let us take a new design. I don't want to change anything. Yes, I can use the previous session. So this was regarding factorial experiments. Yes, as this, if you see here, all we are concentrating on only two level factors. If I want to go for more than two level factors, then I need to go for general factorials, where you can take number of factors over 3. Anyhow, as we have done it, I can just note it down. The factors looks like number of persons. Units I don't have. Level I can move 3. Okay, 3 levels I can conduct here. Next one was CC of engine. Unit is CC. Here also I can go with 3 levels. And the third one was average speed. Unit is kilometers. Sorry, kilometers per hour. And here also I'm going for 3. So 3 to the power 3 is around 27. Replicates I want only 1. So you can directly say that 27 experiments I need to conduct. Mileage is there and I'm looking for those things. Fine. So around 27 experiments I need to conduct, and I need to conduct in this fashion. Yes, you can see this level 2 of A. I have not given the mentioned the values there, right, of the levels. That's why this is there. So it is a bit more confusing for us. So usually we need to keep the values of the levels also, so that for when we note it down, it will be much convenient for us to look into the values or conducting the experiments and writing down the responses also. It is much easier for us. So the same procedure, I need to mention all the values here. Once I mention all the values, you can, in summary, you can just check it up. What are the values you have mentioned, and all these things will be coming up there. Then you need to analyze and you need to go to this thing. Yes, there is an error because we have not mentioned any responses here. Okay, so this is regarding factorial experiments. Okay, now let us go with other. Let us go with RSM. We have two. Generally, we use central composite and box Benkin designs. Yeah, but when we go with response surface methodology, there we can deal with why and when you should use this. Okay. So generally, what happens is two level factorial experiments are only conducted with factorial experiments Benkin design. At least the number of levels required are 3 here. Okay, number of levels required are 3. If you don't give 3, something it will take in the intermediate value, and you need to look into that. I'll give you that example also how it will take. Okay, number of persons. Let us take here number of persons. Next is CC of engine, and next one is average speed. Okay, I can just note it down the units here. Average speed is kilometers per hour. Level is 1. Higher level is 2. Okay. Then here is CC of engine is 100. Higher level is 200. Then average speed was 50. Higher level was 70. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, alpha value I can put it as 1. Because there, so yeah. Anyhow, let us continue with this. There was some error pointing out, so let's cancel it in 1 second. Let us start. Design number of factors 3. Number of persons, CC of engine, and average speed. So units CC. Speed is kilometers per hour. Level is 1, 2. CC of engine was 150. This was 100. And average speed was 50, and this was 70, isn't it? Okay, let us go with this and check how the results come up or responses. Mileage, and we are looking into kilometers per liter. Okay. Yeah. So if you see this, it depends on the alpha values also. So don't worry about the other things. If you can see here, if I say it is body centered or something, like this, it should be in the bond range of 100 and 150, but I didn't give that alpha value as 1. So what happens is it has gone beyond 150 also. So we are searching beyond the region also of interest. So it's 167.04. I can't get this kind of engine. And below 100 also, like 82.96. So it's again beyond that engine. Apart from that, 125cc engine is there. So yes, 125cc engine, yes, sometimes I can get it up. So what I meant to say is, like, while selecting the designs also, we need to know, actually depends on what kind of factors what I'm using on. So anyhow, the procedure is same, and the remaining things what were there in the pending with RSM, that will be dealt with in the coming up sessions. We need to, in the similar way, we need to keep all the we need to test the, or we need to do the experiments according to the run order and keep all the values here. Then you can analyze directly. You can go to analyze and get all the things. This is one. And the last remaining thing, what was here was Taguchi method. Yeah, Taguchi orthogonal array. So coming to this Taguchi orthogonal array, so we have some sequence of designs which are already available in this thing. So we are not defining anything new here. So already they are predefined, which are kept up here, which depending on that, we need to select actually which one actually suits our responses. So if you see 2 to the power of 3, L4 gives you 2 levels, 3 factors. L8 is 2 levels, 7 factors. L9 is 3 levels, 4 factors. L12 is 2 levels, 11 factors. So already it is defined. I can't change actually the design here. So whatever is available. Yes, I can reduce the number of factors required. If L9, if it says 3 and 4, let us take L9. So 3 to the power of 4 means around 3 levels and 4 factors. Yes, instead of 4 factors, I can consider 3 factors, but levels are 3. Okay, so while selecting, you need to just keep in all these things in mind. Yeah. So what has happened here? Okay. So I didn't give the levels, the level values here, but if you can see here, 9, instead of doing 27 experiments, okay, I can just delete this factor. As I told you, we had only 3 factors. Okay, so what I've done is I've deleted 1 factor. I have omitted 1 factor. That was the 4th one. But yes, 3 factors are here. Okay, so if you see this, factor 1, factor 2, and factor 3, around only 9. So there are various combinations, right? They are not the exact combinations which are there, but 3 levels should be there. The only thing is you need to get 3 levels. So instead of 27 experiments, you are doing the same thing with 9 experiments. Okay. So yeah, so in the same way, the procedure is you can just enter the values which you get from experimentation. Then you need to go to analyze. So analyze, anyhow, we have not mentioned the data, but you need to go to analyze and same way, like you need to see is there any transformation required. You need to go to ANOVA table where you'll be getting actually what is desired or which is a significant term, is a model significant term, or which factor is significant and how much is this affecting. Everything is mentioned in the, and if you see in 12, actually design expert 7 is not giving the percentage actually of influence of the factor on the response, but design expert 12 is giving actually. 7 is not giving. 12, if you see, directly it will give the percentage influence of the factor on the response also. Okay. So these were the 3 things, that is factorial experiments, RSM, and Taguchi, a bit walkthrough so that you can just get convenient. So I would request all the participants to just take any one of the journal paper from the websites, and you can just enter some of the thing. It can be anything. They are mentioning actually what they have used, like maybe Taguchi or RSM or anything. You can just use it, and you can just reproduce the data so that you can be much more easier for you to analyze and how the things are mentioned and how you can do all these things. So it's the most easiest way to practice also. It's just a small tool which will aid us and give most of the results. Okay. So with this, I would hand over the session to Dr. Varun, the coordinator, and it is actually open for the questionnaires. If any questions are there, you can just post it off.
Yep. So, dear participants, if you have any queries, you can talk to the speaker straight away, or you can type in the chat window also. I can read it out. All right. Okay. So, dear participants, mainly here it's a walkthrough. I do agree, but at the same time, if you those who are for new to the design expert software, this gives a very good advantage of using the fundamental knowledge and how the experimental data can be trained here, and you can practice like what Dr. Sandeep was mentioning. You can practice this with replicating the same result using the design expert package software, and that's how you can clearly use this for planning at the same time doing the analysis, and you can also use the same graphs for the research publication purpose also. So this is a complete walkthrough, and here as you can see, sir has already explained about the several different types of design expert types, like factorial design, response surface methodology, and even Taguchi, that is the orthogonal arrays. Now, those general papers, when you're practicing, when in CARE, you need to watch is like noting down the standard order and the run order. So normally the standard order is what we need to, we have a general sequential manner, but run order is a randomized one in order to randomize and minimize the bias. So if you can figure out what is the standard order in the journal papers, then you'll have better advantage in replicating the same results, and that way you'll have more confidence in executing such kind of problems. So Our sincere request to all the participants is to kindly go through the material and try to at least do one hands-on one paper what you call replication, and with that I hope you will have a complete understanding, and that will help in going for your problem statement. So I think what Sandeep sir has given is a extensive overview on the entire package, and even in the next coming sessions we are planning to use some of the case studies with the help of design expert, and some of the resource persons have already mentioned that in their thing. And even if it is not, they will maybe probably using giving you some input, like what in the morning session happened. You have given some data, and that should help you to complete the task. Okay, so thank you everyone. I'll be sharing the uh, one second. I'll be sharing straight away the feedback link for today's session. And one important again note is that tomorrow the session will start at uh, 10 o'clock, and that is going to be a session by Dr. J. Ramkumar sir from IIT Kanpur. So please join exactly sharp at 10 o'clock, and the afternoon session is also from IIT Kanpur, Amandeep Singh sir. So any doubts? Anyone has anything to ask, clarify? Please let us know. Okay, thank you, Sandeep sir.
Yeah, thank you, Varun sir. And I wanted to just add one more thing for the participants. Dear participants, please utilize this process of this 1 week actually for clarifying your doubts, whatever you are having during the experimentations. Because actually this session was targeted to just address the issues actually. Like many of us had many of the issues when we look into or start doing the experimentation part. So this actually like this STTP was actually like everyone was like a short-term training program, and it targets the young researchers who have just started their work, and uh, planning the experimentation itself is actually a tedious task. So I hope each and everyone come forward with some uh, queries so that both of us can benefit. Like we can share our knowledge at the same time. You can just clear your doubts. So with this, I thank our coordinator, Dr. Evaran, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you all. Do join us tomorrow at 10 o'clock sharp, and we'll have a wonderful session by Dr. Ramkumar sir. So fill the feedback form. I will be sharing the same in even in the WhatsApp group. Thank you all.